Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Hope everyone is doing well, stacking good days out there, staying off social media and the news as much as possible to maintain sanity. Let's have some fun. I have a question. Why are all of you people suddenly making sourdough bread? Like, when did everyone become a baker? Baking sourdough bread. My wife sent me an Instagram reel yesterday about baking our own sourdough bread, which is the indicator to me that this has gotten completely out of control. My former co-host, Jared Borislow, the host of Formula Bone, was an early adopter and has been doing sourdough bread for like over a year. But this trend has caught absolute fire. It feels like it's like mostly white people doing this. Like it's a white people thing. And similarly to CrossFit back in like 2013, you can't make sourdough bread without telling everyone you know about it and posting your bread results on social media. Sourdough bread. I just never saw this coming. It's like shocking to me that so many people are deciding, you know what? I'm going to make my own sourdough bread. I don't know much about baking, but it doesn't seem like a really simple and easy thing. Maybe it is because so many people are doing it, but feels like you could fuck it up easily. Like there's a big learning curve, if I had to guess. It's just a crazy thing for so many people to be into. Now, if I want to pick up a new hobby, no offense, but I'm picking something fun. And maybe it is fun. Maybe making sourdough bread is fun, but it could not sound more boring, which is the opposite of fun. It couldn't sound more lame. Baking your own sourdough bread, becoming a bread baker, does not sound tight or adventurous or in any way fulfilling. I don't get it. I'm not trying to be a dick. I genuinely don't understand. It's like dudes who do their own microbrewing, but at least the microbrews get you drunk when they're ready. Like I kind of get that, you know, in the same vein, like growing your own weed. Like it's a means to an end, and the end is you getting high or drunk in the microbrew case. With bread, it's just the end game is you're just stuffing your face with gluten. I don't get it. Sourdough bread is just bread. Couldn't sound more boring. The most ridiculous Caucasian side quest I have ever heard. Everybody becoming sourdough bread bakers. When I go through my Instagram stories, not my own personally, but like the people I follow, if I click on the first one and I get through, let's say, 5 people, right now in 2025, at least 2 of those are going to be white people sharing their sourdough bread results. Which, I just didn't see it coming. Maybe this is where we're at. Maybe this is just where we're at as a society. Apparently, people are doing it because bread, like everything else in this country, has shit in it that's bad for you. So making your own bread gives you the ability to control the ingredients and make healthier bread, in theory, is what I'm hearing from the streets, where I try to keep my ear to the streets to figure out why. And that's what I've gathered so far, that you can make healthier bread that's not as shitty for you, and if you do it yourself. But that's the case with everything. Maybe this is the downslope to all of us just going back to farming and having our own vegetable garden, tomatoes. What else? I can think of more than one vegetable. Tomatoes are, I think, actually technically a fruit. If I can't remember. But carrots, cabbage, lettuce, cabbage, cucumbers. But maybe this is the downslope. And this is just the beginning. It starts with bread, and it ends with all of us having our own garden. You've heard about what's going on with eggs and the price of eggs, and the bird flu taking out all the poultry, so the egg prices are going to go even higher. And I'll tell you this, there's a bunch of hipsters in Austin Texas, where I currently live and work, that have chicken coops in their backyards, that have had them there. This has been a thing in Austin for like since I moved here, since back in 2011. There are a whole bunch of Austinites with their own chicken coop in their backyard, and they got their own chickens and their own eggs, and those people are fucking printing money right now. They look like geniuses that were way ahead of the curve. So maybe these sourdough bread people are just cutting edge, and in the near future, there will be issues with bread prices, maybe due to tariffs, and then they'll have their own. They'll have it down pat by then, and I'll be jumping in late as hell. Maybe that's the case. Maybe. I respect it. I'm not trying to be a hater. It just sounds like the most bland and near suicidal hobby possible. Like you decide to start making sourdough bread instead of just ending it all. But it just seems like it's such a, like conceptually, it's as lame, depressing, and boring as it could possibly be. And frankly, maybe that's where we all need to be living, on that plane of existence. Stop seeking so much excitement. Stop chasing these highs. Stop getting on social media and seeing all these other people going rock climbing in Peru and thinking like that's what we need to be doing. Maybe no. Maybe we need to be at home baking our own sourdough bread. Just something to consider. In other news, this year I am choosing to blackball all companies who release their Super Bowl commercials early. Any company that, quote unquote, leaks their Super Bowl commercial to social media early, I'm not using their products anymore. I'm done. I don't care who it is. I don't care who it is. This has gotten so out of control. Last year was the first year I really, really felt the impact of these commercials getting pushed like a week or two in advance of the Super Bowl. And I felt like I had already seen all the good commercials online. So I didn't feel as motivated to pay attention during the commercial breaks during the big game. And that's just sad. That's just sad because like for this Super Bowl in particular, I don't really care about the outcome. Like I don't care who wins. Chiefs, Eagles, it's whatever. I sort of hope the Chiefs win because seeing someone pull off a three-peat would be insane. It's never happened before. Seeing sports history be made live is fun. It's cool to be a part of those moments. But I also sort of hope the Eagles win and stop the Mahomes, Andy Reid dynasty and prevent the three-peat since it's a thing that's never happened. Maybe it never should happen, you know? It's happened in all the other major sports. The NHL with the Stanley Cup, it's happened. It's happened in the NBA. It's happened in Major League Baseball. It's never happened in the NFL. On the other hand, Philly sports fans are psychotic trash people, and I'm not sure I want them on top of the football world for a whole year, so I really don't care who wins, is the point. Like, I'll be watching, I'll be tuned in, but I don't care. I don't have a rooting interest in either team. I might place a bet if I'm feeling a little randy before kickoff, but I'm not real gung-ho on this Super Bowl as far as the football side of it goes. And I would say during years like this, where I'm not super invested in the matchup, the commercials make up like nearly 30% of the entertainment value of watching the Super Bowl, and they have since I was a little kid. I've always loved that element of it, and I don't know if it's because I have like a media mind or I'm like geared toward the ad world or what it is, but I've always really, really enjoyed. Like, dude, just cut and dry, the Super Bowl commercials used to be a lot more entertaining. There were ones that would make you laugh your ass off. There were ones that would make you cry. There were ones that you would talk about for days on end after the Super Bowl aired with your friends and family, being like, remember that one? That was unbelievable. You would talk about it during the game. Oh, that was the best one yet. And that hasn't really felt like the case the last few years. And I think part of the reason why is because they're leaking a lot of these good commercials in advance leading up to the Super Bowl. Because I think in the eyes of the advertising executives, like, well, that way we get even more eyeballs. And it's like, you greedy bastards. If you just... I disagree. I think you're taking away from the hype of everyone seeing it at the same time, live on TV, and everybody getting on Twitter and on Instagram and being like, holy fuck, this one was so good, and telling each other and talking about it on the next day. And then after the fact, by all means, run the commercial for weeks and weeks and weeks after the Super Bowl. I understand that strategy. I get that. But why the hell are you pushing them out onto the internet before the Super Bowl? That's not how this works. You're fucking up the formula. You're ruining it. You ruined the act, Job. I would say the breakdown is like, on a year like this where, again, the matchup is not all that enticing to me, And I think that's the case for the bulk majority of Americans. Like there's Eagles fans for sure. It's a huge fan base. And the Chiefs fans, a huge fan base. But like everybody else, these aren't bandwagon teams really. I guess the Chiefs kind of. Little kids love Mahomes and Kelsey and, you know, I can't name anyone else but Xavier Worthy. But maybe they are bandwagon teams. Never mind. I'll scratch that from the record. They are bandwagon teams. But I feel like the bulk majority of the country is just like, oh, whatever, screw it. Chiefs, Eagles, this is not that fun or exciting. It feels like just a repeat of the last 5 years or whatever. So I would say on years like this, the breakdown is like, entertainment-wise, it's like 40% halftime show, 30% commercials. What does that give me? And 30% football. Quick math. 40% halftime show, 30% commercials, 30% football. So if you're watering down the commercials by having a bunch of the best ones get leaked and go viral in advance of the Super Bowl, you're ruining it for us. And like you could even do it this way. Here's a fucking free tip. Free tip. Ad World, Mad Men. When the commercial airs and it's on the screen of 200 million people around the world, then push it out online right then, like simultaneously, so that it can go viral and get all the retweets and the love on Instagram and whatnot. But don't do it before. You're screwing yourself. I don't understand it. You got to stop this nonsense. It's like how movie trailers have started being like 3.5 minutes long and showing you the entire plot of the movie. Why? I'm not motivated to go see the movie now. I feel like I know everything that's going to happen. Obviously, it's not everything that's going to happen, but it feels like it's everything important that's going to happen. Like I know the whole plot. Stop doing that. What's wrong with you? This is not rocket science. It's fairly straightforward. I just don't understand. It's got to be stopped. This has to stop. This must change. And I think the only way it will change is if we talk with our wallets and stop purchasing the products. I'm canceling them. That's what I'm doing. This is my version of cancel culture. If you leak your Super Bowl ad early, I am out on you and your company and anything you make because you are selfish. You are destroying the balance of entertainment that the Super Bowl, one of the biggest entertainment and sporting events of the calendar year, every year, provides. You are wrecking it. Selfishness of these companies has destroyed a precious part of the Super Bowl viewing experience. And I can no longer sit in silence. Stand with me against this egregious and unnecessary clout chasing. As if social media needed another reason to be considered toxic. Now this. No more! Before I started using Fitbod, for years I did the exact same workouts every time I worked out, and that mundane repetition wasn't working. I plateaued hard. Plateaus are the enemy of all who strive to become huge. Well, with today's sponsor, Fitbod, there is new hope, and you can get your fitness routine back on track for 2025. Yesterday, I did my 286th Fitbod workout, on my way to number 300. It's a big milestone I'm looking to hit there. I started using Fitbod in 2023 when they became a sponsor of our show. They've legitimately become one of my favorite sponsors ever because I love and rely on their app to become huge. Since I started using Fitbod, I've added like 20 pounds of muscle. I'm in the best shape of my life. Many have started calling me Ripped Ross. Others call me Fit Bill. Occasionally when I'm in public, someone will yell out, "You killed Bill Chungus!" Plus, I've completely avoided dad bod through 2 years of fatherhood, all good things. Fitbod is like having a personal trainer in your pocket that builds you a fully personalized workout. It lets you select your fitness goals, like how many workouts you want to do each week, what you want to focus on, like strength training, general fitness, or even powerlifting. You select what equipment you have available, if any, and your experience level, and it crafts personalized workouts just for you. And you don't have to have any equipment. It'll give you a full body workout, body weight workout, like with push-ups and sit-ups and whatnot, and other things that I don't even think to do, because that's what the point of Fitbod is. The stuff you don't think to do, they do think to do, and will get you doing them. With every exercise, there's a how-to. video breakdown with an expert showing you exactly how to do each movement. Also includes a text description to help you understand what you're doing, so no matter your level of experience in the gym, between the videos and the text description, I promise you I've done workouts on Fitbod that I had not done since high school and had no clue what I was doing, and they give you a really great guide so that you know what you're supposed to be feeling, you know what muscle you're supposed to be targeting, you know exactly how it's supposed to look when you do the movement, and it makes it very, very simple. Got my Fitbod app pulled up right now, and for today's workout, I will be doing barbell bench press, single leg hip thrusts, hitting the old booty, incline dumbbell rows, bent over barbell rows, dumbbell flies, and Supermans with scaption, hitting chest, glutes, back, and lower back. Can't wait to get huge later today. Level up your workout. Join Fitbod today to get your personalized workout plan. Get 25% off your subscription, or try the app free for 7 days at fitbod.me/Ross. That's fitbod.me/ROSS, fitbod.me/Ross. Get 25% off your subscription or try the app free for 7 days. Been using it for a couple years. Absolutely love it. Coming up on workout number 300, Fitbod rules. You know who I am incredibly jealous of? Dudes who can fall asleep on demand anywhere. So jealous of these guys. Master nappers. My younger brother is one of them. This dude can fall asleep whenever he wants. I'll be watching a movie with him and look over and he's just out cold. I've been watching sports with him midday before and looked over and he was like laying on the ground, just like snoozing away. No pillow, no blanket, no couch, just on the floor. And it's not like narcolepsy. That's a different deal. I'm just talking about people who can fall asleep anywhere, anytime, catch some Z's, crush a nap, no assistance needed, no chemicals. This is not a drinking thing. I'm talking about dudes who can just pull off a nap whenever they please. So jealous of them. Those dudes are chilling so much harder than me. And this is an incredible skill to have as a dad that a lot of dads develop. The ability to nap in short windows, in challenging circumstances, anytime, anywhere. And I just don't have it. You need this skill as a dad to be able to catch a quick 20, 30 minutes, maybe even just a 10-minute nap. And I don't have it. I don't have it, man. And I'm at the point now where I'm legitimately jealous. Those dudes who can just nap on demand, they must have so much less anxiety than me. And I've been working on my anxiety in therapy for years, and I'm making real bona fide progress. Can't even remember the last time I had a panic attack, but I tried to fall asleep on the couch for a few minutes earlier this week, and I couldn't even do it. I couldn't do it. I was like, my brain was like, what if there's a fire? What if one of the kids needs help? My wife was home. What if somebody rings the doorbell, or like there's an emergency at the house next door and you need to help? Like I'm not capable of eliminating the anxiety from my mind to a level where I can just pass out. It sucks. It sucks. It truly, truly sucks. It's a skill that gets more and more valuable the older you get. Like when you're a little kid, you regularly notice older people, when you're a little kid, you think my age, 37, is old, right? That's an old man. And you see these old men just sleeping away. Thanksgiving after eating turkey, Christmas Day during NBA games after the present opening. This is a thing you see in public. Old men sleeping in chairs in the mall, in the concourse while their wives shop. They can just do it. They Nike that shit. They just do it. They just sleep. They can just turn their brains off and just go to sleep. And then there's the rest of us who can't do that at all. Can't even go to sleep at nighttime when there's no distractions or anything. You have to, without a substance, melatonin, alcohol, edibles. I got to have something. You got to give me something. These freaks don't need that shit. Maybe this is one of those things I'll focus on this year, trying to get to the point where I give so few fucks that I can fall asleep anywhere. Because it's always pissed me off that I don't have this. I remember, just to throw out a random example, during my first wedding, leading up to it, he was about to become my brother-in-law. This dude was just asleep in a chair, and I was like, this is like nerve-wracking moments. Obviously, more for me as about to be the groom, than him. But like he was in the wedding, and he was out. He was just asleep, just napping his ass off right there. Thing is, 5 minutes from starting, walk right past this dude. He's just snoring in a chair. I was like, my God, that must be nice. My God, that must be nice. It's the place that I've noticed it the most that really, really, really gets under my skin is on flights. I've never been able to successfully sleep on airplanes. It's in part because I'm tall, and airplanes were not built for the tall. They don't care about our feelings at all. You know, we don't have to go back through the whole like recline or not recline airplane thing. It's been done to death. I've done it to death, but I've never been able to. That's the one. There's nothing to do on a flight. You're worried about the plane. You're worried about, potential delays or the thing fucking exploding or crashing into the ocean and it being the end of your life. That's what's going on in my head. So I can't fall asleep. I'm too distracted by anxiety. And I look around and there's fuckers just sleeping, getting 3 extra hours on this flight, sleeping through the whole thing. Don't need a movie or a Wordle or a crossword or, whatever other stupid Flappy Bird, Angry Bird you got going on your phone. Didn't need any of that shit. Just out cold. Those people are living a dream that I have never been able to taste it. The sweetness of the life where you can just decide, I'm going to sleep right now. I'm gonna go to sleep right now. And then it happens. I've never been able to do it. Always pissed me off, especially on flights. Speaking of which, I saw a story about a pilot proposing to his girlfriend mid-flight that I want to talk about briefly. A pilot proposing to his girlfriend mid-flight. Okay, this is from the New York Post. It says, "Love is in the air." You like that, don't you? A pilot proposed to his girlfriend mid-flight as the plane cruised at 30,000 feet in a public display that had hearts soaring. I love the New York Post's shameless use of simile, metaphor, alliteration. They know it. And puns. They love puns. They love a good pun. It says a passenger recorded the sweet moment. The unnamed Aero Mexico captain declared his love for his girlfriend, who was seated in first class, over the speaker. So, girlfriend in first class, pilot in the cockpit on the speaker. He says, "Today, I boarded that same person who has transformed my life, my co-pilot of love and life, Norma Basurto." He said this in Spanish. I'm not that fluent, so I'm going to give it to you in English. Basurto appeared surprised by the announcement and immediately began looking around. Where is he? Where is he with the handheld microphone that goes to the speakers? Where is he? And he continued, "From the day I met you, I knew I wanted to fly by your side in every adventure, in every storm and clear sky that life presents to us. Honey, I knew you were special from the day I met you, but over time I realized that you are everything I dreamed of. You are my refuge, my joy, and the reason why I want to be better every day. You have been my companion in great challenges and wonderful moments." He then asked her to stand, explaining that he was watching through the cameras, which I didn't realize was a thing. The pilot then appeared from the cockpit, walking down the aisle, as he hoped she would be doing soon, to meet Basurto as everyone in the cabin excitedly watched on, which I can guarantee is bullshit. Not everyone in the cabin was excitedly watching on, and I'll get to that in a second. So when the pilot was finally able to be face-to-face with his girlfriend, he got down on one knee and he asked, "Will you marry me?" Basurto excitedly said yes, as tears streamed down her face. The newly engaged couple hugged and kissed as onlookers recorded their emotional moment and cheered the two on. It says, the pilot then returned back to flying the plane, and Basurto settled into her seat with a ring on her finger. Whew. It's a lot to unpack. So, great proposal, admittedly. Great execution. Fantastic work. But I do have some problems with this, and I'm going to go beyond the fact that this is probably against company policy. I'm not sure Aero Mexico appreciates one of their pilots taking time out of his actual workday to propose to his girlfriend who is in first class. That being said, more problematically, what if she says no? You're 30,000 feet in the air. And now, as a passenger, I'm terrified. Are you going to kill us all? Are you going to run the plane into a mountain? It's almost like she can't say no, for the Always Sunny fans out there, because of the implication. You're proposing 30,000 feet up when you are the pilot of the aircraft, and you don't think it's running through her mind like, oh my God, all of these people's lives are in the palm of my hand. If I say no, he could kill us all. And if she says no, the walk of shame back to the cockpit, if rejected, is an all-time walk of shame. That's like, it can't get much worse. And then you're up there crying, probably, heartbroken, flying the plane. I'm supposed to just go back to playing Angry Birds without being scared of the potential fallout that could occur as a result of this rejected proposal? This is not okay, man. It worked. It's gone viral. It's getting coverage in the New York Post. Happy for the happy couple, but I don't like this. I do not like this. This cannot become a thing. Pilots proposing mid-flight. Your job, the thing I paid for you to do as a passenger aboard this aircraft, is to sit up there and make sure that everything goes fine. Planes have been falling out of the sky left and right in 2025. Read the room, dude. Read the room. Is this really the best time for me to think the pilot is more focused on a proposal than flying me safely to my destination? Because this also means that on the climb up to 30,000 feet, you know, if you've ever proposed in your life, it's extremely nerve-wracking. The moments leading up to the proposal, you pretty much black out. You go into like another zone. Like the zone that professional athletes enter in the last 2 minutes of the game, that the all-time greats enter, where it's just like everything else is blocked out. You have tunnel vision. That's what happens before you propose. So frankly, they're lucky they even got to 30,000 feet, because this guy's up there thinking about how he's got to pull off this proposal. And if you've ever done a proposal, if you do it with an audience, it's significantly more nerve-wracking. In front of a bunch of other people or in a crowded restaurant, like that adds a lot of pressure. He's doing it in front of all the passengers on the plane, most of which are probably just trying to get to Cancun to get their freak on and get fucked up or whatever. Like, man, I don't like this. I don't like this. Not in 2025, Buster. Maybe in another year that didn't start with like 4 major international news plane crashes in the first few weeks, this would fly. No pun intended, but it doesn't fly now. He did it. He got away with it like a bandit in the night. But if nobody else can try to pull this, if you're a pilot and you're seeing that story, don't even think about it, man. Not on our watch. Focus on keeping us alive and well. Your planes have become too untrustworthy. Get your shit together. This is what they should be worried about. The Trump administration, not DEI. Pilots proposing mid-fucking flight. That's the real enemy that we should be focused on. So fortunately, she said yes. But then she has to return to her seat, and you have to return to flying the plane. And that alone makes it kind of a shitty proposal, no? You don't even get to share in the afterglow together, you know? And again, I'm like, is that dude up there, even after she said yes, like, he's back to flying the plane, but is he fully focused up there right now? Or is he thinking about how he's going to get laid as soon as this thing lands? Huh? I don't like it. I'm happy for them. No more. No more. That was it. Everybody gets one. They got theirs. It's over. That was it. Trying to fly the friendly skies without having to worry about shit like this. There's enough going on. The first month of the year came and went. Have you made progress yet? Maybe not. Maybe you're still wondering, how am I going to make this year different? How am I going to build something for myself? I'm ready to turn this business idea I've had rattling around in my head into reality and be my own boss, but I don't know how to make it happen. Today's episode is brought to you by Shopify, and Shopify is how you're going to make it happen. Let me tell you how. The best time to start your new business is right now. Shopify makes it simple to create your brand, open for business, and get your first sale. Get your store up and running easily with thousands of customizable templates, no coding or design skills required. All you need is to be able to drag and drop Their powerful social media tools let you connect all your channels and create shoppable posts and help you sell everywhere people scroll. Shopify makes it easy to manage your own business. They help with details like shipping, taxes, and payments, all from one single dashboard, allowing you to focus on the important stuff like growing your business. What happens if you don't act now? Will you regret it? What if someone beats you to the idea you have? Don't kick yourself when you hear this again in a year because you didn't do anything now. With Shopify, your first sale is closer than you think. Established in 2025 has a nice ring to it, doesn't it? Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/RBP, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/RBP to start selling with Shopify today. That's shopify.com/RBP. Again, all lowercase. And the details for that sponsorship can be found in the description of today's episode. All right. I want to give a quick shout out to our Canadian listeners because between Kendrick Lamar winning 5 Grammys for Not Like Us and wearing a Canadian tuxedo to the Grammys and performing at the Super Bowl this upcoming Sunday, and our president openly declaring that Canada should be the 51st state of the United States, and the trade war he just started with the tariffs. It's a lot, and it feels like Canadian and U.S. relations are in a really bad spot, like the worst spot that they've ever been, potentially. I can't remember another point in history where Americans and Canadians were as at odds as they are now. America versus Canada beef is currently sizzling on the grill, and I hate that. I hate that, and apparently the Canadians do too. Apparently they're extremely pissed off and insulted, and I can't really blame them. I can't blame them. Y'all have always been cool to me, man. Y'all have been cool to me. I've never been to Canada, and frankly, I'm not sure I'm allowed in because I got a DWI when I was a teenager, and that seems to be a real stickler with crossing the border into Canada as far as I've heard. But Canadians have always been super friendly to me, seem like great people. Got quite a few of them who listen to the show that are in the RBP gang that have reached out to me over the years. I love syrup. I love maple syrup, you know? I don't know what other Canadian exports I consume on a regular basis, but I'm sure there are some. I think y'all do a lot of logging. It seems to be some kind of well, I guess the maple leaf is connected to the maple syrup, but y'all got funny words you use that I like. A boot, I like that. That's always pleased me. I like your accents. I don't like the new age slang coming out of Canada, like Utes in that one video of that girl saying, if you leave your moms behind or whatever. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I apologize. But like, I don't love the new age Canadian slang, which I feel like Drake is largely responsible for. But Canada on the whole, I've never had an issue with. Our brothers and sisters to the north, you know? So I'm not cool with all this. I shout out to our Canadian listeners, of which there are many, and I'm sorry things have taken such a shitty turn in our relationship. But Drake never should have gone after Kendrick. It feels like that's what sparked this whole thing. And nobody can control Donald Trump's crazy ass. But I personally do not want to take over your country. I don't see any real advantage to adding more territory. I don't know why Trump is so obsessed with this concept. He keeps throwing out, he's like, what about Greenland? Like, bro, we are having a lot of issues managing the territory that we currently have. Like, more issues than we've had in my lifetime. Do we really need to be focusing on shit like expansion, right? Does this feel like the time for expansion? I think not. Certainly not Canada. The hell are we going to do with Canada? The Canadians know what to do with Canada. That's their spot. I hate cold weather. It's fucking freezing up there. Toronto does look cool. Seems like a really cool city. But nobody wants this. The Canadians don't want it. The Americans don't want it. And that's the message I'm trying to convey here to the Canadian listeners. We don't know what the hell these people in our government are talking about. They just say stuff. We have no control over this insanity. Many of us didn't vote for it. We have no clue what the fuck is going on. It feels like this type of shit is just to distract us from the other shit. Like, well, if we talk about Canada becoming the 51st state, that'll dominate headlines. And it works. It worked. This is proof that it worked. I just don't want Canadians and American citizens to be at each other's necks because there's already enough of that going on between the two guys we've got representing our countries individually at the moment with Kendrick and Drake. So we don't need more. Okay? And there doesn't need to be all this animosity between us. It's really a problem between two guys. It feels like it's fucking bled out into all this other shit. And I don't like it. I don't like it. I like Canadians. I think Canada is a fine brother to the north, brothers and sisters, north, up. We don't need to build a wall. Let's all be chill. Y'all could be more lax about the DWI thing, though, if that is true. Because, like, I would like to come up one day. That was, like, 20 years ago that I got in trouble, man. Why are you holding this against me? I haven't even had a drink since 2017. It's been 7 fucking years. 7 fucking years. Can y'all chill with that? If you're a Canadian and you're listening right now, is that true? Is that real? If I tried to come up right now, y'all would say no because of a crime I committed in 2000 and... Fuck, I don't even know. 2005? Come on. Give me a break. Come on. Anyway, shout out to Canada. That'll do it for today's show. If you're looking for more RBP, producer Kade and I just recorded an ad-free episode that is available exclusively on patreon.com/Ross Bolin podcast, where we took 9 hotline calls from our listenership, answered questions, responded to hypotheticals. I'm pulling up the rundown right now so I can tell you what we talked about today. We talked about washing machine technology and how it's evolved, how there are pods, there's also still the liquids, there are sheets, there are dryer balls, there's all types of different options for the things you put in your clothes washing machine at this point. We had a listener get really upset with me about having a service that comes and picks up dog poop in my yard. Someone suggested we make this the year of the cock ring, which if you don't get that or think it's completely random, that's because you're not on Patreon and you haven't heard us talking about sex toys the past couple weeks. Someone asked how traffic comes to be, so we turned to ChatGPT to answer that question. We discussed the hitting on people at the gym. We had a female listener call in asking how she should approach this guy that she's interested in at her gym. Matt Nation called in and talked about how there's too many dudes named Matt who listen to our show and call the hotline. Ironically, the next person who called in was also named Matt, and we talked pet insurance. A lot of fun stuff on patreon.com/Ross Bolin podcast this week. If you want to support our show, that is one of the best ways to do it outside of supporting our sponsors, which is also extremely important. Today we had shopify.com/RBP, all lowercase, to get that $1 per month trial period. And of course, fitbod.me/Ross, where you can try Fitbod free for 7 days if you go to that link. So you can get a couple few or even 7 workouts in if you do one every day. See if you like the app. You will like it. I promise you. It's awesome. I use it every week, 4 times a week at a minimum. Or you get 25% off your subscription when you go to fitbod.me/Ross. Support our sponsors, support the show by subscribing on patreon.com/Ross Bolin podcast. There's a 7-day free trial available on Patreon if you go right now. Check out our other shows on Oysters, Clams, and Cockles, hosted by me and one of my best friends of over 20 years, Mr. Barrett Dudley. Right now, we are covering Severance Season 2. We are 3 episodes deep. Apparently, episode 4 that drops tonight, Thursday night. I know everybody thinks it comes out on Fridays. Thursday night, 8 p.m. Central Time, is actually when Severance episodes drop on Apple TV+. That's just the way Apple TV Plus does their shit. If they say the show comes out Wednesday, it's actually Tuesday evening. I don't know why, but it is what it is. Apparently, we're in for a big episode of Severance this upcoming week. If you're watching Severance, tune in to Oysters, Clams, and Cockles. I promise you we will make a great show, even better for you and even more enjoyable. We discuss all the different theories, the ins and outs, no spoilers. We don't fuck with Reddit. We just give our own thoughts and feelings and have a blast doing it. Oysters, Clams, and Cockles. And of course, F1 fans, check out Formula Bone all off-season long. Jared J-Bone Borislow is bringing you the finest F1 content known to man, the largest American F1 content creator, Jared J-Bone Borislow, on Formula Bone, which you can find wherever you find the Ross Bolin podcast. But most people watch on youtube.com/@FormulaBone and follow on social media @FormulaBone. Speaking of social media, follow our show, the Ross Bolin podcast, on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. We're working on pumping out a lot more social content for y'all in 2025, getting some new interns in order to help with that. And you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram @WRBolin. This episode of RBP is presented by Bolin Media. Video of today's show was produced by Kade Orris and can be enjoyed on youtube.com/@the Ross Bolin podcast. Until next time, remember, you are not alone. Peace be with you and also with you.